Salutations, Rangers! Generally 101, back at you with some more lore. And today's video, we are talking about something that, even after a few days of research, I still have no idea what the hell they are. And that is the Alpha Legion. So, this is the second time that I am recording this, in fact, because my Ready Power utility was like, you know what, have a blackout. And then my Ready Computer was like, you know what, have a corrupted audio file. So, there you go. So, that got delayed, this video is delayed, but it's finally out. So, yeah, sorry for the delay, but I always try to give you guys high quality stuff. Well, as highest quality as I can do. Regardless, I hope that you enjoy, and right now I am stalling. If you couldn't tell, because I don't want to talk about this shit. Not because I don't like the Alpha Legion. I mean, I like them, but I hate them at the same time because, oh my lord. If you're a fan of the Alpha Legion, you're cackling to yourself, you ruddy bastards, because you know exactly why. The Alpha Legion is confusing, to say it mildly. It's just mental, and you may be asking yourselves, hey Brad, why are you, doing about the Alpha Legion if, you're so daunted by them?
Why?
Well, that's because in my Warhammer Explained narrative audio drama, I commented and I said, hey, comment your favorite faction, and you know what? You'll get a video out of it. And only one person actually commented on there, and a chap by the name of Lord of Keks, you fucking meme lord, I'm sure you think you're funny, it was like, hey, do the Alpha Legion. I was like, okay, for my fans, right? Now, if you don't know the Alpha Legion, you might be sitting there going, okay, you're kind of being a bitch about this, Brad, like, what's going on? So, the Alpha Legion is very unique amongst the Astartes. I mean, each Astartes Legion is unique, but the Alpha Legion is unique in the fact that you don't really know anything. And that's because the Alpha Legion's whole... You know what? Like, right, here's an example. So, this is the lore of their Primarch, Alpharius. So, Alpharius was discovered by the first discovered Primarch, or Horus Lupercal, because there was a fleet that was giving the certain area of the Imperium trouble. So Horus went in there with his boys to go and sort them out. And during that, one single assailant entered aboard his capital ship, mind you. So this is the capital ship of a Space Marine Legion, and managed to fight off his Astartes and his Terminator elites, and managed to even kill some of them and get as close as to look Horus in the eyes. And when that happened, he was like, wait, brother! Because it turns out that was Alpharius, the Primarch of the 20th Legion, the Alpha Legion being the 20th Legion, mind you. So, you have the Alpha Legion, and then you have Alpharius, and Horus was like, oh my god, here! And he showed him to the Emperor, and the Emperor's like, my son, here is your Legion. And essentially, the Alpha Legion stick is, they're the CIA, the FBI, the Black Ops, the hush hush shush shush nonsense. Whereas the Raven Guard are much more of like Delta and SEALs, Special Forces. The Alpha Legion are very much, we're the Black Ops, we're the Secret Shadows nonsense. Destabilizing countries, poisoning water supplies, butchering certain undesirables, assassinating leaders, destroying infrastructure, unsavory shit. That's what the Alpha Legion does. So basically, the Horus Heresy happened and they were contacted by a group known as the Cabal. The Cabal was essentially a group of Xenos and humans who did funky shit throughout the Heresy, and they were like, if you side with the Emperor, mankind will win, but the Emperor will be mortally wounded and forever interned upon a golden throne. But eventually, chaos will end up winning and devouring humanity as a whole. And they were like, the second option if you side with Horus, you will end up destroying humanity, because you'll go on 100 years worth of blood and reign of terror, but ultimately chaos would be defeated, and that's the end goal, but humanity would be destroyed. In the end, Alfarius decided, you know what, I'm going to side with Horus, and joined the heretics inside of the heresy. And he wanted to attack Pluto, which was essentially the communications hub of the loyalists. So what he did was, he put his ships, he turned off the power, and just let them float in space for a full year to reach their planet undetected. And Pluto was guarded by the Imperial Fist. The entirety of the solar system was Sol, Earth, and whatnot. So he and his boys land there, and they have a big old fight, and he ends up dueling Dorn. And Dorn, with his colossal chainblade, ends up killing Alfarius. And Alfarius is dead, and the Alpha Legion then, retract back. They go back into their hit-and-run shadow nonsense, but they basically become a non-entity in the heresy at that point. And that progresses into the modern day, where they are divided up into different cells, and they do covert, sneaky, splinter cell, sleeper cell nonsense. So, pretty good lore, right? Pretty solid. Yeah, makes sense. Cohesive. You can follow it. Doesn't make your brain hurt. Well, it's a lie! It's all bullshit. And you wanna know what's scary? That was actual proper lore sanctioned by GW until the Alfarius book came out, which basically said, yeah, that was bullshit. And there's a whole new another set of lore regarding Alfarius and his twin, Omegon, because fun fact, he had a twin. They're the only legion to have two separate Primarchs that got separated during the chuck through the warp. They split into two, their soul and body split, which is why Alfarius is smaller. He's the smallest Primarchs. And another quirk, his sons are tied for biggest or second biggest. Vulcan and the Salamanders, they are the tallest Primarch, the tallest, the biggest, the toughest. That's their whole shtick. The Alpha Legion are like an inch or two shorter than them. So, you may be thinking, okay, yeah, Brad, they're meant to be sneaky bullshit, and they have that, so what's the fuss? Well, at the end of the book, Alfarius says something. He says, records are created by historians. Historians lie. Every record is not entirely truthful. Every record has a lie, in it. And then he says, this is my record. I may have lied.
You can't keep getting away with it!
So even then, that might be bullshit. So, you might be wondering, why am I kicking up such a fuss about this? If you've watched any of my videos, you will know one thing, and that is I'm very meticulous. Another thing, like memes and eggs. I've mentioned eggs a few times in here, but anyway, I'm getting off track. Oh god. I'm a very meticulous lad. I like covering every detail, I like everything to be in order, and, when I make a video about lore stuff, it's very old franchises and IPs, Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40k, Battletech, history, which has been around for forever, and normally I like to say, 90% of this is correct. 90% of this, if you Google search, it will come up with favorable results. I'm only human, and I'm just a college student, making nonsense on a computer that's way too fucking old. So, yeah, but I try and be as in-depth as possible, I try and be as accurate as possible, and I try to be as fair as possible. I try and make quality content for you guys. So, when I have to do a video about a faction whose whole shtick is that you don't know what the fuck is going on, you can understand how it sends my brain into overdrive. I am so unprepared, even though I spent like 3 days preparing, and the problem is literally, 85% of the 85% of the stuff I saw contradicted itself, and I'm scared. So, if you're an Alpha Legion fan, you like them for one of two reasons. One, they're sci-fi, FBI, CIA, Black Ops, stealth, sneaky shit, and they do crazy shit, and that's why you love them. Or you have no idea what the fuck is going on. And you were just like, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm not going to cover too much of Alfarius' new lore, but essentially the book can be, because it covers the book and I don't want to spoil the book, but the book can be summed up as follows. Mild spoiler warning, by the way, because I'm summing up the book, so if you don't want, skip ahead by like a minute. But basically, it can be summed up as follows. So basically, you have Alfarius. Alfarius met Omegon. Omegon then decided with Alfarius that Omegon should be called Alfarius and Alfarius should be called Omegon. Alfarius and Omegon then decided that they would fight the Emperor. Alfarius, who is now Omegon by the way, and Omegon is now Alfarius, then fought Dorn. Dorn supposedly killed Alfarius, yes, God. And Omegon then changed his name to Alfarius, or back to Alfarius rather, in honor of Omegon, who was known as Alfarius, but was slain as Alfarius, even though he was Omegon. And when he met with Horus, there was a prophecy where the first and the last son of the Emperor shall have the greatest impact on the heresy. And, you know, he's like, okay, well, that's fine, because the last son who was found, Omegon, who was known as Alfarius, is now dead, right? But Omegon could have switched with Alfarius, and they could actually be Omegon.
You gotta be kidding me.
So it could actually be correct. And even at the end, he says, I am Alfarius. This is a lie. That's a literal quote from the book. You can understand why I'm having 7 degrees of internal panic right now. Help. You know, when I put out that comment, I was hoping to get a few comments, you know, let me know what you guys want, and I was hoping for like some Imperial stuff, because I'm an Imperial fanboy, or I was like, you know, Eldar would be nice, or like Orcs, or Tau, or maybe some Chaos shit, you know, so something different. The one thing I didn't want was Alpha Legion. Again, yeah, I'm kind of a bitch. I'm a pedantic bitch about details, okay? That's who God made me out to be. That's who I am. But, alright, enough of that.
Fucking finally.
So I'm not even gonna bother with details. This video is already off the rails, it's gonna be even more off the rails. Let's talk about why people love the actual fucking Alpha Legion. The crazy shit they do. So, the Alpha Legion... Also, side note, there's this whole theory that the Alpha Legion is actually loyalist, in that they actually are serving the loyalists by playing the massive long game, and, you know, when push comes to shove, they'll actually betray the loyalists, betray the heretics, and they'll be so embedded in the heretics that they'll win. And then there's another theory, these are... nothing's canon with the fucking Alpha Legion, so whatever. And there's another theory that the Alpha Legion actually split in two, with Alfarius being loyalist and Omegon being heretical. So there's actually a civil war within the Alpha Legion, kind of like the Dark Angels. So there's that. I'm not gonna bother with that. I'm not gonna do this. You know why you like the Alpha Legion? Because they do funky shit. What is funky shit, you may ask? They cause raining snakes!
What?
Hallelujah! It's raining snakes! So, the Alpha Legion wanted to get a bunch of Psykers. Normally, what other Chaos Warbands would do, they would raid planets for Psykers. Not the Alpha Legion. So they found a world, right, standard world, and they infiltrated it, and they infiltrated the government and the public works, and they filled the generators, the atmospheric generators, with a psychological toxic gas. And that psychological gas was there for like, you know, months, and it was building up until they finally released it. And when it hit, everyone across this planet had these wicked dreams of it raining snakes. And what's special is that this gas heightened psychic potential. For those of you who don't know, psychers are basically space magician. It's space magic, you know. It connects to the warp, which is hell. Not just one hell, but 4 hells, because 40k. So, basically, what did they end up doing? Everyone had these dreams, and these dreams ended up manifesting themselves as psychic energy. And you know what happened? Everyone woke up in one giant psychic scream, and there was a massive shockwave across the planet. The sky ripped open, and And guess what happened? Poisonous, venomous snakes literally rained from the sky. About 80% of the population, was it 80% or 50%? Some mad number was killed outright. The Alpha Legion made it rain snakes. And you know, when that psychic shockwave happened, some people died, some people didn't, but for those who were, you know, had the psychic genomes, they were fully blood-flesh psychics. The Alpha Legion dipped in, picked them up, and fucked off. That's the Alpha Legion. Another Alpha Legion story. So, the Alpha Legion was raiding, you know, and the Imperial fleet came in, and the fleet there won a battle. They were driven off in like a celebration, but you know, they suffered some losses. Some of the boys were banged up, so they were sent to a nearby agri-world to replenish and, you know, replace, you know, R&R and whatnot. And basically it turns out that some of them were sick, you know, well, whatever. And an agri-world, for those of you who don't know, are a breadbasket world. So basically what happens is there will be just one world with good soil, and they have these massive city-sized farm known as macro saturation fields. And basically what happens is, you know, they feed a system, two systems, multiple systems, depends, because the atmosphere in 40k is kind of fucked up a little bit. So what happened was that virus then spread to these crops, and the crops turned into black sludge. And what ended up happening was that this particular world supplied not only that system, but 3 different systems worth of food, and they all starved to death. That's the Alpha Legion. Another thing, this one caused by the big man himself, Mr. Alfarius, or Omegon, I really don't fucking know. So basically there was this government. It was well defended, it was solid, the people were happy, they were prosperous, it was, you know, utopic, it was idyllic. So what did he do? He assassinated a bunch of leaders and implanted a bunch of nonsense in the people's head to start cults and uprisings and different fashions, fascism, communism, etc. And he caused like a multi-way civil war. The faction that ended up winning had a particular chant, went something like this: blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne, milk for the cornflakes, butter for the corn cob. The last two, probably not, but I wouldn't put it past the fucking Alpha Legion if they can make snakes rain. So Alfarius instigated a chaos uprising to KHORNE. That planet is now a demon world. Probably. Most likely. So, that's just a little taste of the Alpha Legion, but I've saved the best for last. So, there was this Inquisitor chap, and he was obsessed with the Alpha Legion, right? And the Alpha Legion had this call sign. You know, it was a handle, right? And essentially what this chap did was he followed this Alpha Legion guy everywhere with his retinue onto a space hole. And he followed him for years. And eventually what happened was when he cornered him, the Alpha Legionnaire had his face. I didn't mention this beforehand, but the Alpha Legion are very big into reconstructional surgery. In fact, a large chunk of the Alpha Legion have their face reconstructed to be like Alfarius, and they will often say, I am Alfarius, to fuck with you. Hence where's that meme comes from, because genuinely a large chunk of the population of the Legion can impersonate Alfarius because they're the same height and they have the same face. So when this Inquisitor chap saw this Alpha Legion agent, it turns out that he had the same face of the Inquisitor, and it was revealed all along that this was the plan, to have him chase him over multiple years and eventually land in this space hulk so that he could kill him and impersonate the Inquisitor, and the Inquisitor becomes the new agent for the Alpha Legion. And at that, a bunch of Alpha Legion Chaos Marines surrounded him, and well, you could put 2 and 2 together. It equals 4. And a lot of blood in this case. So that's a few stories for the Alpha Legion. So the Alpha Legion is a sci-fi, I keep on saying sci-fi, Spec Ops, Black Ops, hush-hush secret nonsense. And as I mentioned before, they are tied for the tallest, so just the second tallest. They're like an inch or two below the Salamanders, and their Primarchs are Ferris and Omegon, one of whom is dead, maybe, are shorter than normal, and they're all about stealth and espionage and subterfuge and shady shit, nasty shit. They get their hands dirty. Like I said, sci-fi Black Ops nonsense. They destabilize stuff, and that's the way they fight. They rarely, if ever, fight in open warfare, and even if they fight in open warfare, that's not the point. The point is to distract you more often than not, and they have been involved in several different campaigns. They work in cells. Like I said, sci-fi nonsense. Different cells operate in different areas and different purposes. That's their equivalent of warband. Their biggest impact was they were on the Siege of Frax, which was a big long war. It's basically World War One analog for 40k, and they had some shenanigans there. And yeah, that's basically it for the Alpha Legion. That's the whole stuff. They are sci-fi nonsense, and they're very secretive, and they're into mind wiping. Also, fun fact, they along with the Thousand Sons are the only original Chaos Legion that actually treat their human servants as companions, compatriots. They're the only people who do that. I think the Black Legion may also do that, but I'm not 100% sure on that, because they use, sleeper agents. Literally, you could be a sleeper agent your entire life because the Alpha Legion implanted your mother with something when she was pregnant for you that would mess with your head. They do that shit. Remember, it's Spec Ops hush-hush bullshit with genetically augmented, super enhanced transhuman space marines. That shit's dialed up to 1200. And a fun fact for you, Alpharius and Omegon both had this. Each Primarch had a specific ability. Sanguinius, for example, was incredibly psychic. He was able to see the future, or glimpse the future, rather. Gilliman had incredible, just literally godlike logistic skills and governmenting capacities and oratory capabilities. Like, he was a statesman. Vulcan was a perpetual. He is basically functionally immortal. And Alpharius' thing was that he could use pseudo-psychic nonsense to make it seem like he was an ordinary person. He could change his appearance to people, so he could literally walk around like a regular dude. Obviously, if you hit him or he shot or something happened, it would break, but it was an illusion, basically. So yeah, that's the Alpha Legion. Their symbol is the Hydra, and their motto is cut one head and two take its place. I know that's the symbol. And fun fact, they're called the Alpha Legion because they're most people think it's like a joke. Oh yeah, they're the Lost Legion, so they get the first name. But no, they're actually the smallest legion by far, because they are only said to be at 3,000 Marines, and 3,000 Marines was known as the Alpha Induction process, hence the name Alpha Legion. Fun fact, normal legions are about 100,000, 110,000. Salamanders are second smallest, I think, and they have 93 at their height. The largest was Ultramarines, I reckon, and they had 280,000, 260,000, give or take. Yeah, and that's it for the Alpha Legion. Not much here, because as I said, man, the Alpha Legion is not something that you do a detailed dive lore in. You like them because they do crazy shit. I mean, dude, these guys are cool. As much as, I would hate doing admin for them, oh my god! They made snakes rain from the sky. They do, you are out here, getting your toothpicks ready, alright? Because they look nice, and these dudes are out here playing 4D chess while you're barely even bought the bloody checkers. That's a way better analogy. I don't know where the toothpicks came from, I really don't. But they're 7 head, they're 12 head, they're 3 head. Hydra. So, yeah. Like I said, you like the Alpha Legion for two things. One, because of their crazy sci-fi bullshit. Fucking hell, I keep on saying sci-fi. Spec Ops bullshit. Or you just like them because it's crazy. And even GW is growing with this at the point. They may retcon the Alpharius book. They may not. It may still be canon. It may not. I don't know. All I know is this is the Alpha Legion. This is why you love them. And I have a headache. Oh, God. Genuinely speaking, I love the Alpha Legion. They're hilarious, but oh my god, doing research about them is a pain in the ass. But there you go, Mr. Lord of Keks. You bastard, you. I hope you enjoyed my suffering. Hope you got a kick out of it. Like the video. You wanted this, here it is.
There is no meme.
Like the fucking video. And to everyone else, comment, share, subscribe, join this wonderful community, join the Ranger Trooper Corps. If you value honor, nobility, loyalty, and honesty, join the Ranger Trooper Corps. That's our wonderful, wonderful community. And go back to the video about the different factions, comment down below there or on this video, and I will do their faction as well. That would be great. And if you don't know what faction to do, well, I kind of have a video about it. cheeky plug. Anyway, I have been General Bradley 101. You have been beautiful, wonderful, and amazing people. And I will catch y'all next time. Dismiss, Rangers.